Well, good afternoon, everybody. Got a little project going on here. I actually started this one several days ago, and had not had a chance to get back to it. Now, what I'm making here, like I said, I already started on it. Forgot to video it. A chisel sharpening jig. Because free-handed, to keep the angle and everything flat, I'm not very good at it, and I can't do it. This one's not too bad a shape. Now I've got a bunch of chisels. This is my main set. It is not a quality set by no means, but I don't use them all the time, but when you need one, you need one. And I have a few one-offs of different brands. But these are a old Harbor Freight set, but they work. So, talk about this jig. I saw at least 3 different YouTube videos on how to make one of these. So I took the ideas out of all of them and come up with my own. Now this is a piece of oak hardwood flooring, and this is 28 degrees. Now they say from 25 to 32. I've seen all the different angles, and this one wound up at 28. Now I determined that using this little square deal right here. Let's see. However I did it. I'm not good at math. I'm not good at degrees, angles, and all that kind of stuff. But I set this up at I think it was 26 or 27, and it wound up at 28. And this is another thing that's not a quality tool, but it works. Now, next step on this, got a little hole down here. Now, the ideal thing would be wing nuts, bolts and wing nuts, which I don't have any. And I forgot to get them in town this morning at the hardware store, so we're going to go with what I have, some little nuts and bolts. I've already drilled some holes here. What's going to happen is they'll clamp down like that, set, and the grinder itself, or the sharpener, we'll look at that later. That's a pretty cool thing too. Now, I knew these transfer punches would come in handy. This is 13/64. Now let me grab a clamp so I can hold this still, and a hammer, and I'll show you how I'm going to do this. Now, got my transfer punch. Put me a little divot, drill the hole. Now you don't have to have a 5-pound hammer and pound it, just tap, just like that. Cut it off a little bit, that's still okay. Now we'll take that off. Take my hand drill. Now I've got this angle here roughly 90 degrees this way. Yep, walked off on me. Hate it when that happens. We'll still make it work though. That's one thing I do. If I goof up, I'll show you I goofed up. There we go. That'll work. Pardon me, there's that damn, excuse me, darn, my center peel cough. Now that I got my holes established here, this is going to be in the way. This is just glued down with some regular wood glue. So let's take a chisel and knock that off. Maybe just a little more, because we're going to countersink a hole right here. And re-glue it too, probably, because there's no pressure on this part of it. That's just a guide for the sander that we'll show you here in a little bit. Let's see, a little bit more. There we go. Pardon me. Now these will go up through here like that. So what I want to do is countersink the head of this nut to go in there. So let me get a drill bit for that. I think it'd be better with a drill bit than a countersink tool. It's got to go pretty deep, and we'll see that in just a second. Alright, got our big drill bit. Let's see, just about deep enough. Let's go a little bit more. Oh, don't go too deep. Right, that'll do it right there. I think this is going to work. We'll see. If it don't work, we'll start over again. Knock that off smooth a little bit, like that. And we'll put those up in there. That like that. Now I don't have any flat washers this size. I run out of them. These little light washers. We'll just use what we have. Put that like that. Now the way this works is chisel goes in here like that. Now let's move the camera back here. Let's get this out of the way. Like this. Now in one video I saw, I really liked the way he did it. Take a penny, put it on either side. See, make sure it stays flat like that. Then you tighten up your little jig here, your little plate. Now you don't have to put 1,000 pounds of pressure on it. Tighten it up. Let's see, let me grab a wrench right quick. I think that's maybe a 10 millimeter or something. So maybe not 10, maybe let's try 8. Nope. Yeah, 10 millimeter. Everything straight, just now tightening up a little bit. Now we'll tighten this side up some. Okay, this first time it's still pulling those bolts up through the slot that we cut. Like I said, this might not work. I might have to start over, but if I do, I do. Alright, getting tight. Now like I said, it doesn't need a lot of torque on it. Just enough to hold it. That'll do it. Eyeball it, make sure it's straight. Now, just like that. I think that's going to hold it just fine. Because when we take the pennies out from under it, it leaves enough room for it to go down. Hang on. Leaves enough room for it to actually touch. Now, yes, that was thunder. Rain is moving in. If y'all are wondering, yes, those 2 hurricanes, tropical storms, whatever they are, they're both coming this direction. Last night they had shifted way back towards us. This morning they shifted way back the other way. Who knows what'll happen between now and whenever they get wherever they're going. But we are well supplied. We're not concerned about it. They look like category 1s, and if they even hit us, they may not. That's one of them things that we don't worry about too much as hurricanes. We've lived through them for years and years and years. So, I'll show you the next step. How we're going to set up the actual grinding machine for this. Alright, jig is done. Just saw that. Now, this is going to be the chisel sharpening sander right here. Now, there's a backstory. There's always a backstory with me with tools and stuff. I remember when I got this sander, it was in the year 2000. I was doing a project for my mother, and yes, we miss her a lot. But I had an old, really cheapo belt sander, and it burned up on me as I was trying to build it. So my dad went up to the local hardware and bought me this one. I remember it was year 2000, because that was the same year he told us that he had the cancer, and he didn't make it but another year. But anyway, let's don't get into that because I'll get all emotional. Anyway, I had this sander then, A couple years later, I had a friend that would come over and visit with me every now and then, and I built him some woodworking projects. And in 2004, I remember very, very clearly, because that was after I had my first heart attack, had to quit work. He still came over and helped me with some stuff. I let him borrow it. Let him borrow this sander, which I normally don't do. I normally don't loan tools, especially power tools. When he brought it back, he had got it so hot that it almost burned it up. It'll only run for 2 or 3 minutes. It'll get hot and it'll shut off. So anyway, I put it down in the cabinet and it's been there ever since. But it still works, still comes on. But it won't run for a long time. So it'll be a perfect tool for chisel sharpening, and that's pretty much all I'll use it for. Let's see, so I've got it plugged into the power strip. Now it's a 3x18. I went this morning because I didn't have any good 3x18 belts. I got one, I cut it in half. Now the video where I got the inspiration for this, I will link down below, because it was his idea, not mine. But what you do, you cut a belt in half. Just like that. Here, let's move the camera back out. Y'all need to look at me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp it in the vise. I think it'll fit in this vise okay. Let's see, let's come out a little bit more, if it will. I don't want to do that. See, there we go. No, that's just a little bit too big for this vise. Hang on, we'll come right back. I'll figure it out. Alright, got it clamped up in the other vise. Now what I'm going to do when I turn it on, this little separator here will keep it up off of the belt. I'm going to work this belt around like this, and let's see what it does. Now watch your volume, it's going to get loud. Now this thing cycles, it goes up and down, up and down. Maybe it'll work. Let's check it out and see. See what I mean, how the sander goes up and down? Now that's pretty good right there. Now this one was fairly straight as it was, but it's not cutting quite as much as I want. I'm going to loosen these screws a little bit and move it down just a tad, just a little bit, and we'll try it again. Alright, let's try it again. There we go. A little bit of fine tuning. I can feel the burr on the back side. And I'll take that over to the buffer with some compound and we'll knock that off. That's going to work. As long as the sander holds up. If it doesn't, my Makita sander, belt sander, will work the same way. But I just thought I'd try to bring this one back to life and use it a little bit. Now let's run over to the buffer right quick with some compound and see what we got. Now I'm going to use some green compound on the buffing wheel and polish it up a little bit and let's see what we got. Alrighty, let's put the compound back in the package here. Look at that. That is very, very, very sharp. That's what I'm looking for. So if you got a little bit of time, you got a bunch of chisels you want to regrind and resharpen, I hope this helps you out. Like I said, I'll put a link to the video that I got the best information out of. And remember, don't throw that tool away. Fix it, sharpen it, use it, keep it in service. Now, thank y'all for watching. Thank you for your support. Let's see. Let's get the camera moved up here. Some more of my famous camera work. There you go. See y'all next time.